Okay, for this quick demonstration, I want to go over a couple of the features and how to just basically turn on this version of the scan tool. This is an Autel. It is of the tablet design. It's using a wireless dongle to connect underneath the dash. So anytime we're hooking up a scan tool, the first thing we need to do is connect underneath the dash to the DLC. Consult service information to find out where your DLC is located. Should be somewhere underneath the steering column on the left side of the vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to reach up under here and I'm going to plug this in. It makes an audible beep to let you know that it is turned on. There is also a light on the dongle that turns on. And I turn the ignition for the car on. On top of the tool itself, there is a power button. Some of these might be located in different places, but I'm going to press and hold it. Scan tool powers on. This is an Android-based tablet. Give it a second. All right, so there's our main screen. We have a look there. We might get a few notifications. We'll go ahead and bypass that. It says vehicle detected. This one automatically picked up the VIN. Now it's not always going to automatically pick up the VIN. And also I will go over both generic and vehicle specific functions. So for some instances, when we diagnose these cars, we're going to be going into what we call a global or a generic setting. In those settings, you may not have some data, some bidirectional controls, and the codes that you're looking for may or may not function. Some of the IM status, and we'll cover that at a different time. But we'll go ahead and we're going to close that down so that we know that we can move on here. We're going to hit the Diagnostics button. And this is an Acura. So I can find on this list, I can find Acura. But for this particular point, I'm going to go with the EOBD, which is a generic, all makes, all models. So it's asking me to put in a repair order number. For some instances, you may need to do that, but I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to hit OK. Establishing vehicle communications. So now it tells me a couple different things. And then it goes to this screen where I can select where I want to go. Diagnostic trouble codes and freeze frame data. I can look at live data parameters, inspection maintenance or readiness monitors, component tests. This is where we will reach out to different parts of the car and command things to operate, which we'll cover at a different time. And then there's some VIN information or vehicle identification, and then of course vehicle status. For this particular exercise, I just want to go to DTCs. So there's a list of DTCs on the left. Some of these may be history, some of these may be pending or current, as you can see on the left. We'll talk more about what that means at a later time. If I wanted to erase the codes, I have the options here, or if I want to go back to the previous screen, I can do that here. If I want to look at live data, I'm going to click the live data tab. Reading PIDs or parameter IDs. It's counting the parameter IDs, it's calculating, and then it posts that for me. Notice some of them. They have the values, the ranges, and the units. Percentages, degrees in Celsius on this particular model. We can change that to Fahrenheit. Sometimes we can't. But as I scroll through, I can look at a number of different sensors. Throttle positions, let's see, fuel trims, oxygen sensor voltages, and so on. I'm going to hit the little return button. It takes me back to this screen. If I hit escape, Are you sure you want to exit? Yes. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to look for Acura. Let's go up to the top. Notice it says I have options for Asia. I'm gonna hit Acura. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The repair order number already has test record and the corresponding vehicle model does not match the model currently selected. Please change the number. So you may run into this. Okay, let's try 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It liked that. Now, the screen is a little bit different than it was when you were in generic. Notice it says control unit. If I go into control unit, now I have the ability to not just look at engine controls, which is what you would find in generic. Now in this mode, I can look at tire pressure, airbags, anti-lock brake systems, gauges, body controls. So I have now all the systems on the car because I went vehicle specific. If I escape out of here, I have a number of different things like hot functions and service procedures. Sometimes we need to reprogram or reset modules. This is where you're going to do that because you cannot do those things under generic OBD setting. Yes, I want to exit. If we are finished, we can power down by holding this button, power the scan tool off, turn off the ignition, and remove the dongle from the vehicle.